Look, I think I've got about 15 minutes to talk through some of the solutions that we're bringing, as Gordon says, from overseas in markets such as the US and the UK, and we're introducing these now into Australia. I think just to touch on who we are, we really sort of do three major things. One, we do messaging solutions. So more recently for the hurricane relief, we were the ones that ran all of the messaging through our gateway, collecting all of those donations that can now be done via mobile phone. We run all of ITV's messaging and all of their voting. That's about a £70 million a year business for us just with ITV through shows like The X Factor that has something like 2 million votes per second going through. So we run loads of messaging. I'll talk a little bit about that because it's still really unsexy but massively underused. The second sort of part of our business is production. So we produce mobile sites for the likes of Marks and Spencer's, iPad apps for the Sun, in this market, things like Toyota dealers and what have you. So we've got this whole sort of production arm going on. And the other sort of third part is where we do compete a little bit with Google. We have heard of you. And this is sort of our ad network. So we've got access to about 700, 800 million page impressions per month in this Australian market, and one of the biggest independently owned ad networks in Europe. So that's really our business. I won't dwell too much on who we've worked with, though very pleased to announce that this morning we've done a partnership with the whole of MCN and Foxtel, where we'll be providing them with all of their end-to-end mobile solutions. Now, a little bit on messaging. Now, I want to talk about this because my dad's, who was effectively the last person in Europe to get a phone, has now got one, and he's learned how to start SMSing me. And just bear this in mind. Dad, who's now retired, he goes to the golf club every morning, but every morning before he goes, he gets a little SMS alert from this tiny little golf club back home in England. And he loves it. He loves this golf club now because all it's doing is just telling him what tee times are available. It's a really, really simple thing to do, but he loves it. So trust me when I say when John Birch embraces a new medium, it's hit mainstream. But messaging is still really, really underused. Look at your TVCs, your print ads, your press ads. Yes, you've probably got a URL up on there, but are you adding mobile interactivity to what you're doing above and below the line? You know, this can empower you to deliver interactivity on a device that everybody owns, and including my father, knows how to use. It's time really to look at messaging. I know it's slightly unsexy, so I'm not going to dwell on it, but it really is something that you can deploy as a sort of phase one of your sort of mobile strategy. Now, once you've got that, you've got to drive people somewhere. If you look and take a look at what your sites look like on a mobile phone, this is really, really important. People need an optimized experience for mobile. So this is one of the things we do all the time. Now, I've not picked on this poor client here, but mostly this is what you're going to see if it hasn't been optimized for mobile. Some of the things you can get out there at the moment are technology. I'm not particularly trying to push our production capabilities here, but technology can render to sort of 10, 12,000 different devices. So it doesn't matter what phone you've got, a Motorola, a Nokia, an iPhone, it really doesn't matter. There is technology that exists out there that can optimize your existing mobile site, your existing website for mobile. And it's very, very important that can happen. Also, some of the technologies are feed driven too, so you don't need to have costly updates all the time. Once you've built it, once you've made it for mobile, you can pull off an XML feed or an RSS feed and it updates dynamically. So it avoids the need for ongoing expensive costs. And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that what you do is you take all your 10,000 pages of content that's made for a PC and try and put that on the web. You can be intelligent about what you do. And I think mobile brings some pretty unique benefits, which Marks and Spencer's have found. They came to us and really, they sort of entered into this whole debate of what should we do? Should we build an app? An app's really cool. Everyone wants an app because CEOs now all have iPhones and they want to see themselves in the iStore more often than not. But they sort of went through this whole debate, and we sort of worked with them to advise them what we really felt they should do is go mobile web. Not least because that means they're getting access to 100% of mobile web users. I think smartphone penetration in Australia at the moment is around about sort of 35, 40%. So an app strategy isn't necessarily a mobile strategy. What we're always advising people is phase one, render your mobile site, render your website for mobile, and that's what Marks and Spencer's did. So they launched this late last year. They're now having something like 1 million unique browsers visiting that site every single day. They're selling over 60,000 individual products. Their mobile site syncs with their website as well. So you can go at home, you can shop all the way through, put things in your basket. So when you're out and about, when you're actually mobile, when you're shopping, that actually uploads it to your mobile phone so you can see what's in your shopping basket as well. So there was a wonderful quote from Marks & Spencer, and I think this is really it. Hundreds of thousands of customers are already shopping with us on their mobile phones, and market data is telling us this will soon be millions. But retailers that perhaps fail to exploit the true potential of e-commerce, m-commerce is a wonderful solution, and one that we're really tipping for massive, massive growth here in this market across the coming 12 months. So in this market, we've built a made-for-mobile site for Spreets, recently acquired by Yahoo, I think for 40 million. But they found that something like 15% of their total site traffic using Google Web Analytics basically was coming from a handheld device. But their mobile site wasn't rendered for mobile, so their bounce rate was about 90%. So everyone going there was thinking, oh, well, this doesn't look very good, I can't use it, I can't interact, so they came out. Now we've sort of made this made-for-mobile site for them, and we've put an automated redirect on, so it intelligently knows if you're trying to access it from a handheld device, here's your made-for-mobile experience. If you're accessing it from a PC, here's your PC. It's now something like total mobile traffic is about 30%, and the bounce rate is under 10%. So it's completely transformed the business. And what we'll be doing with these guys next is sort of deploying out m-commerce solutions as sort of phase 2 of the strategy. But phase 1, Spreets just said, crikey, our customers are trying to find us on the mobile web. What do we do? This was it. You needn't, however, create a whole dedicated M site in order to start exploiting mobile. Maserati, we're going to be running this in Australia in the coming weeks as well, we hope. Maserati ran this in the UK. All it was is simply an advertising banner on a targeted site. You click on the banner, the iSlide format drops down. It's got 3 clickable links. One is click to call, the other one is find your nearest, and it then links to Google Maps. So it sounds like a big plug for Google, doesn't it? Links to Google Maps, so you can find your nearest, and the other one could be to click to request a brochure. So all of that functionality really can reside within an ad. And of course you can time target that ad, do it by time of day and by state and all these usual things that you're used to doing online already. So there are ways of doing it very, very easily. I'm not going to talk too much about apps, but just beware, there is a massive race into apps at the moment, and whilst the prices of production is coming down a little bit, in order to have a complete app strategy, really you should be building one in Android, one on Apple, and then obviously one on BlackBerry as well. Now the cost therefore can rise, but you're still only managing to deliver content to 40% of all Australians. So really it's like creating a website using Google Chrome and saying to hell with it. If you haven't got Google Chrome, you can't come to my website. You're alienating the other 60%. It also means that has a direct impact on how you can leverage your traditional media to drive people into that mobile environment. You can't do it because you alienate 60%. Okay? I won't dwell too much on some of the things we've done because I'm aware of time. I really want to cover some of the new ad formats that are emerging out at the moment. These are just some of the apps that we've created. I'll talk a little bit about advanced targeting and what you're now able to do. So you're now able to do things like third-party ad serving. We've integrated with MediaMind. A lot of agencies want to be able to have that accountability of mobile advertising in-house. You can target by gender, by age, by country, by operator, and a lot of the large telcos have all of that data already. So the Maserati campaign you saw, we were able to run that, targeting people who were earning over 300 grand plus in specific suburbs of specific urban areas throughout Australia, and just males as well. So that level of targeting really, I think, is something that really is something to watch out for within the world of mobile. There are some stats. I think I've got one slide in here which I'll touch on in a mo. Mobile advertising as well needn't be hard. It's something that's very, very easy to deploy. It's not that expensive. Some of the rich media ads we've done here with Universal Music. Has anyone ever seen the application Shazam? Yeah? I'm getting a bit old. I hadn't heard of it until we started working with them. But what we're able to do here is when we partnered with Universal Music, and when anyone sort of Shazammed a rock artist, we dynamically inserted an ad that was from Universal Music for one of their rock artists themselves. Equally, when someone Shazammed a rap artist, we're able to dynamically insert an ad for Kanye West. That functionality is really simple. You click on the ad, you've got 3 clickable hot links. So you can go on and link to YouTube, or we could embed the video within the ad itself so you can view additional content. You can then link and share it with Facebook and share it with all of your friends. So something we did for 20th Century Fox enabled people to find, to view the extended trailer, to then send that around to all of their friends via social media to see if they liked it as well. If they all liked it, it then could link it to everybody's calendar and sync it as a sort of an event. You could then go further than that and find your nearest Hoyts or whatever it was and click to call to book as well. So all of this functionality is really beginning to come to the fore. This is the sort of slide I was talking about. So in terms of reach, targeting, perhaps less so engagement, but I think we're addressing that with some of the ad formats I'll show you in a moment. Certainly mobile is really beginning to stand on its own 2 feet at the moment, we see. I won't dwell too much on these. Some of the ads that we're able to do, I think, exploit mobile for what it does best, conveying additional information, driving deeper engagement, and of course delivering response. So car advertisers love it because what it can do is all 3. You can request a brochure, knowing that I think 1 in 10 brochure requests lead to a test drive booking, and 1 in 4 test drive bookings lead to someone buying the car. So all car manufacturers really want to do is get brochures out there, get people in the showroom. Well, this is a great way of delivering that, because I think something like 80% of all interactions are done for one reason only, and that's because people want more information. This is a great way of delivering that additional information to them. No pressure of calling a salesperson or anything. They can research car purchase before they buy. Then they're able to go in and actually book a test drive once they've been informed, or request somebody to give them a quick call. Here are some rich media HTML5 ads that we did. So what you do is you click on the banner. It's got the usual functionality such as find your nearest dealer, request a brochure, but you could actually shake the phone as well and it would change the backdrop of the ad. So we're beginning to see life emerging, just like it did online sort of 10, 15 years ago, life emerging beyond the banner. Some really cool standout rich media ad formats are starting to come and be deployed by certain advertisers. Here's one we did for Starbucks coffee in the UK, and I think this ran in the US as well. Time targeted, so it was hitting commuters when they really most wanted their cup of coffee, so we're only serving the ads on specific sites at certain times of the day. You can click on the banner. There was your chance to get a redeemable voucher that you can show people in store. You can link to augmented reality to find out exactly how to find your nearest Starbucks, or if you really were terribly complicated, terribly confused, you could link to Google Maps and sort of find your way that way. This is some pretty cool stuff we're starting to run for Nestle in the UK. What this is basically a clickable banner, again on targeted sites. The banner then drops down. It sends little bubbles, chocolate bubbles, fizzing up across the screen, and then you can see on the right-hand side that logo starts to sort of drip down with caramel and leave behind a clickable link to a dedicated made-for-mobile site where they could show additional content or offer vouchers and what have you. A very similar one as well that we're doing with Cadbury. Again, you can shake the screen once you've clicked on the ad. On the ad, the egg sort of explodes all over the screen and leaves behind a clickable link, so you can go to again to a dedicated M site or an app. I'm going to sort of go through these last 2 slides and try and pull together some of the things that I've been talking about very quickly. Here's something that we're sort of going through the motions with on Powerade at the moment, who don't currently have an end-to-end mobile strategy. So what we wanted to do is build them somewhere where they could dedicate content, where there was a sort of destination area on all handsets, so that all of their potential customers can find them and interact. Then what we did is we sort of came up with some pretty cool ads. In this instance, I think it drips sweat down the screen. It then fills up the whole page with Powerade and leaves behind a clickable link that takes you directly through to that made-for-mobile site. And there were different ads that we could run. We then gave them QR codes that they could put on pack, or they could even put it on their posters, on their billboards, on their print ads. We enabled them to have keywords such as Powerade and short codes on all of their media. So everything they're looking at doing, whether it's TVCs, print press, everything is interactive. People can lean in and engage and interact. And the keywords that you can have, things like win, play, info, brochure, tell a story, so people know what they're looking at doing when they text. And of course, everyone knows how to text, including my father now, which is good news. So what we really did is made their existing media work really, really hard. There's no need to change their overall strategy. Mobile could be added on as a complementary part of that. It could be added on to make that work harder. The banner ads targeted in the same way, the rich media stuff, that's all a bit of a sort of toe in the water for most advertisers who haven't done it before, but that needn't be expensive. So really, to use this sort of Powerade example, you're able to deliver a sort of full end-to-end mobile solution, leveraging what you're already doing, using a mechanic and a device that everybody knows and understands how to use, and trialing a few more things. But also you're delivering a dedicated, made-for-mobile experience without having to spend an absolute fortune. And that's really where we're coming. Because the big feedback we've had when we're talking to most clients and most agencies is that everybody knows they have to do something with mobile. They can't ignore it. It isn't going to go away. It's only going to get more important. But they don't want to have their first sort of toe in the water as being an incredibly costly one. So we recommend mobile web over apps initially, and then develop your app strategy as in tune with your learnings. And I think the big stat to take away today is one from Morgan Stanley, which says that global mobile internet access will overtake PC internet access by 2014. But the interesting thing is it will happen in Australia first because of the way the Australian market has adopted smartphone technology. So it's coming, and it's coming pretty quickly, and there are ways of doing it pretty easily, and it needn't be scary. Thank you.